What do you think that a good bassist should be?
A good bassist should be somebody who, well, I was trained by an amazing bass player, and man, this guy is just like, he's like a second father to me, because he really showed me and he taught me this incredible gift. It wasn't like I had this natural talent. He gave it to me. He showed me how to play. He sat me down. I was a little kid, I was like 10 years old. He sat me down and he puts a bass in my hands and he says, "Now watch me and do this." And I did it. And I went home and I didn't have a bass. I didn't have a bass guitar. And my dad had a piano and I had a trumpet and I had a drum set and a bunch of other stuff. But I didn't have a bass guitar, and I really liked how the bass made me feel inside. When I hit the notes, I could feel it. And I loved it, and I'd sit there and I'd put my chin against it and I'd put it against my cheek and I'd play, and I just loved the way it made me feel. So I wanted to be a bass player, and he showed me, and he's a genius. He's an amazing, he was trained by Ken Shangora, the great jazz piano player, and he's just like right on the fucking money with bass. And he told me, he's like, you can't be all flash and no smash. You gotta be in tune and listen to what's going on. A good bass player listens and plays what's right for the music every time. And doesn't do, I mean, you can be flashy and you can be good and you can be technical and you can be dynamic, but don't let that overshadow what is good for the groove of the music and what's perfect for the composition. It's like if you have too much paint in one area of a painting, if you're not talking about abstract, you're talking about something like, you know, photorealism or something, if you're talking about something classic, there's, you know, kind of a guideline and rules to it. But I unfortunately, so often you see bands and you listen to music and you're like, man, the band would be so much better if they had a bass player that was fucking playing what was right for the music. And nobody wants to play bass, and that's the thing. That's another thing with musicians that I think it's funny. There's a million guitar players. There's a million. Yeah, everybody wants to play guitar, and I play guitar, and that's fine. And just because I wanted to, you know, build an ability to play multiple instruments, but so many people, they'll overlook the bass. Oh, the bass is easy. We don't need a good bass player. Blah blah blah. I beg to differ. Because some of the most amazing music is defined by how good the bass player is for the group. You know, what's right in and what works in with everything else. It's got to fit like a puzzle piece. And a good bass player, you know, I listen to so much different kind of music. You know, a lot of jazz music, I listen to some classical music, and, you know, a lot of rock, funk, and jazz, and bebop, and hardcore, and heavy metal, and punk rock, and there's like Matt Freeman, for instance, and from Rancid. Guy's a genius. He makes that band perfect. If they had just a regular bass player, there wouldn't be so dynamic, I think. That's just my opinion, you know, and I take that solely because it's mine, I guess. But when I listen to other music, I'm like, you know, so very rarely do you see somebody and a bass player should be somebody who's going to play the right part and be good and understand the direction of the music, and it should be a collaborative piece, because unless you're just like writing and playing for somebody else, it's different. But if you're like in a group and you're working with somebody, you got to have that connection to, you know, put the Rubik's Cube all level, you know.
So, what song did you decide you were going to play?
Zero. And it was difficult for me to narrow them down. I wanted to play Siva and I wanted to play Cherub Rock. But that when I listened to the music and I was reading the music, the tablature for it, I was looking and I was playing along with some of the stuff, and I was like, it's good. And then what really pushed me to just play one song and to play Zero was the dynamic in the composition of the piece. There's subtle changes in it. It's not the standard formula for music. It's like there's little changes here, and the timing's cool, and the lyrics are just brilliant, and I could identify with the lyrics, you know, just from being alive, I guess. Because the lyrics were great, and it's such a groovy song, and it made me feel good. I was like, I'm going to play this how I play. How I feel like I would play, because I really get into playing when I play, I give it everything I got. And I think that to be another thing, go back to that last question, if you're not playing with every ounce of what you are inside your music, it's like if you go in and paint a portrait, or you paint a picture of somebody and you go at it half-ass. It's not going to be as good, it's not going to hold that deep artistic value of a true artisan mindset to create something that's like the vision of what music is, or a vision of what the painting is. It's got to be perfect. And to you, the person that's creating it's got to be perfect to that person. And other people will catch on, because if you think it's perfect and you feel inside yourself that it's right and it's correct and it's valid, and you believe in it, then that's it. And that's more important than anything, is being convicted and sticking to your true artisan life as a musician or an artist or anything. Like even in films and stuff like that, you can tell who's a good actor and who's a bad actor. Easy, you can just tell. Man, it was like watching the Dalai Lama. That fucking guy's right on. When we watched him, he blew my mind completely. And I saw this guy come out, and he just believed, and he truly believed everything. And I was like totally I had to breathe to get my breath, because he was so right on. And it's things like that, you listen to politicians and shit, and it's like, fuck, these guys are assholes. These guys don't know anything about anything. They're just doing it for the money. They're doing it for control or whatever. I can't be a part of that. It's nonsense.